Hey everybody, I just thought I would check back in with another Carriers at War episode, this time using the complete Carriers at War edition off the Internet Archive website. And this version has better graphics and way more scenario options. I added some modern sound and ambiance. Okay, so this time I decided to take another look at the Midway setup from the Japanese side. Purpose of this video is to demonstrate one way you may score a decisive victory against the Americans. Decisive victory in this case means you must score more than 700 points over the US total. And that's a lot, especially when you consider that in order to win by that kind of margin, it's not good enough to just destroy the American Pacific Fleet. It's equally crucial that in doing so, you also protect all of the IJN's best assets, namely your fleet carriers and battleships. Keep in mind, every capital ship in this game is a potential 100-point swing, more or less. So why choose this scenario? Well, I like to play the bad guys, the historical losers in this case. I like to try to rewrite history. Sure, the Japanese on paper have a massive advantage in planes and ships, but many important intangibles seem to weigh in favor of the US Pacific Fleet. And so Battle of Midway games are often very difficult to win by margin, whatever side you play. Okay, so as a Japanese, here are some of the problems. You have the burden of attack, and it's a heavy one. And why do I say this? You need to hit Midway with multiple airstrikes before the transports can land there. Otherwise, your ships will be attacked over and over again by land-based air. The American planes based on Midway include 30 plus PBYs. Catalinas are in this game. They can bomb too, and torpedo. There are 15 or so B-17s, maybe a bit more than that. They aren't that accurate, but they have the ability to one-shot transport ships if they hit, and those big four-engine bombers can reach anywhere. So yeah, it's my experience that in this game, one all-out air raid might be enough to do in the PBY infrastructure on Midway and noticeably reduce the sorties coming out of the base, but it won't stop them. You really need a second follow-up raid to dramatically reduce the effectiveness of Midway. The Americans know this, of course, and they are laying in wait at all times for the perfect opportunity to counterpunch. Furthermore, one of Kondo's task groups is a close support bombardment outfit. It's got 5 cruisers with high explosive loadouts, and they need time to park off Midway and do their job before the transports arrive. Transports themselves, they max out at 9 whole knots, so they're very slow moving. In fact, the Japanese bring a whole bunch of older, slower moving auxiliary type units into this battle, all highly susceptible to interception by US subs or the fast moving American task forces. The American formations have 33 knot capability, and not even Nagumo's carrier strike group can move that fast. They max out at 28 knots. So Yamamoto's battleships are even slower still. So yeah, the Japanese war machine has a lot of moving parts to worry about. Almost all of them can be outclassed and outpaced by the Americans to some degree. Now, the Japanese have some great torpedo bomber squadrons with fantastic range, but the planes themselves are relatively frail, so squadron effectiveness tends to fall off as the battle wears on. A lot of the Japanese ships are untrustworthy when it comes to absorbing damage, particularly the aircraft carriers. They can fold after a few bomb hits, blow up and sink, stuff like that. There is no super helpful weather setup for the Japanese in this scenario. Are you kidding me? That should be a deal breaker. It would have been if I was a Japanese admiral. But we're desperate, I guess, in this scenario. So yeah, the Japanese are bigger, but the Americans are faster and hard hitting. Japanese have schedules and more of a script to follow, while the Americans get to improvise with some very powerful tools. So you can see here, I'm setting up the strike on Midway Island. You will notice too throughout this game, I do not micromanage CAP over the carriers. I hold nothing back. I rely on the default settings when it comes to defensive air cover. Anything that can fly off and carry the fight to the enemy task force must do so. I'd rather rely on not being where the Americans can reach easily. The last thing I want is a defensive air battle over my carriers. If the American planes are coming, I want them to fly over screening groups or over other ships bearing down on their carriers. I want them to have to land at night after flying extreme distances. I want them flying into thunderstorms or clouds. Not so much this scenario. I want no part of those dauntless dive bombers. They're just bad news. And notice I don't use cohesive strikes. Cohesive strikes take hours to form up and assemble. In this situation, I'd rather be first off or failing that early and persistent. Even if the survivability of the attack is compromised by coming in bits and pieces, I'm looking for hits on the enemy before he can hit me. With the surface task groups, you need to close fast and grapple and almost like tie up with the enemy like in a hockey fight. So I'll send planes from great distances to help out if and when possible. I'm not going to sacrifice any assets blatantly. Everything will be purposeful for the greater good. Okay, so yeah, you can see the B-17s attacking some of my battleships. You also notice, though, in this version, the Complete has way better pixel graphics. Like, they really went all out with the ship detail. I think it looks awesome. But, yeah, so what I was saying is, on the map, north of Midway, you have that weather bank. And I actually like this version, too, because you don't have to constantly draw bad weather or all weather systems. It's just all automatic, which is an improvement over the earlier version. But you can see if the Americans are somewhere in the northeast, there's no real way for the Japanese to flush them out of that position frontally, because the American task forces just move too fast and they can run away in the opposite direction and eventually swing south and destroy the Japanese main body. So you need something more refined. I like to try and come up with a trap. Like, I like to send Yamamoto lumbering north with his big super heavy battleship, and he has like a little escort light carrier there, which is incidental, but whatever. Have him lumbering north, and then I have Nagumo come up from the south after the initial Midway air raid, and I'm going to try and pinch the Americans between two converging threats. And so that's the plan anyway. We'll see what happens here. This is just bombing at 7 in the morning, Midway. I can see American aircraft coming off too. I am hoping that's not coming for my carriers. It seems like it would be too far. That's probably land-based because the 3 contacts there are still quite too far away from my Kates with high explosive bombs. So if I can't reach the Americans at that distance, there's no way they can touch me. So this is, if that is accurate distance. Because you could be surprised. I am taking, you can see as some of these planes are getting shot down. And like I said in the intro, some of those Kate squadrons are crack units. But every time you send them out, at least 1 or 2 never come back. So they get progressively weaker. But the initial raid on Midway is essential. You just cannot have bombers attacking the entire game from Midway, even if they don't have great percent chance of getting hits. They will eventually hit, and they can cause critical damage, especially against your transports. So I'm just waiting for recovery there. Carrier strike group. I'm going to swing north, I think. Just going to adjust the camera here a little bit. It's a bit windy. The forecast said it wasn't going to be windy. So hopefully it doesn't mess up the audio too much. Unlike the other scenario, the Coral Sea, where submarines played no part, it's different in Midway. The Americans have tons of submarines, and they're constantly attriting your slower moving ships. And sometimes they can even hit like a carrier. I hope not. See, there's Yamamoto steaming, like he's the northern arm of the trap, just in case the Americans decide to move north, which it's unlikely. I'm not sure what they're going to do. I have played this game, and the first time I made contact with an American carrier is sometimes south of Midway. That happened the last game I played, but that's not the case this time. So as long as I have a threat above and below the American group, and then have those support forces. Yeah, see, wow. Chikuma's all bashed up. Hagakazi. Chikuma's on fire. Hiroshima Hirona, just superficial damage. That's good. So you have threats approaching the Americans on three sides with something up the center. I'm not sure whether Nagumo will. We'll see. It all depends on what the Americans do and how. It's like 9 a.m. on the first day, so depending on how fast they can close, if they choose to do that, I'm gonna have to react. Priority is just to recover as many planes as possible. You don't like to send your air crew out more than twice in a day too, because then they start really getting the attrition really starts to build up quickly. So you have a close support group just headed towards the island. So here we have that close support task force. Kumano, I think, is the flagship. It has to unload high explosives on the island. This will take about an hour for all 5 cruisers to unload. Remember the old Avalon Hill war game where they just had, I think it was the Atago, it was one cruiser represented the entire Japanese invasion fleet. You sink that, you can't take Midway. That's a great game too. I would one day like to get another copy of that game and review. Lots of fun. Simple, but yeah, tons of fun to play at both. Okay, so we're still bombarding Midway here. And once these ships complete the bombardment, they're free to just move anywhere. So I'll probably have them rush straight at the American contacts, because if the Americans do bomb them, like that's, I don't like to sacrifice units, especially going for a decisive where every point counts. But there is value in having the Americans attack non-critical, which I consider non-critical ships. There's more aircraft coming from Midway. So yeah, close support has completed, so that task group can now head out towards the Americans. The point is just to get the Americans thinking about anything other than my carriers, because I remember, like, I'm going to keep on referencing the Avalon Hill Midway game. You know, like you've played someone with experience when like every single shit in airplane they place on the battle board is against the carrier. They just ignore everything else. That's what you don't want to have happen here, right? It's like sometimes it's tempting to, like, oh, here's a hanging cruiser. I'll take the victory points. It's not lending its no other ships are lending anti-aircraft value towards it. So, but no, if the people, if you want to win and you're serious about winning, every plane is like lined up on top of or against a Japanese flat top or American flat top. You just look at the battle board and shake your head. You're like, yeah, it's bad. So if you can get, whenever your opponent is doing anything other than bombing those flat tops, see, I left one squadron back just in case. This is probably the only time in the game where, like, the Americans are close enough. They closed a lot faster than I thought. And they're probably at extreme range. I'm at extreme range. But not cohesive, right? I'm not wasting time. And not everything can make it. There's still turnaround. There are a lot of aircraft that are unavailable, but I'm sending everything that can fly. It's just sort of like an emergency response here. Maybe they don't reach in time. Maybe they have to turn around before it gets dark. I can't take that risk. Look how fast the Americans close the distance there. If that's accurate. Yeah, the Vindicators are from Midway. It can be surprisingly effective against, undefended, like if there's no air cover, yes. See, they get hits. That's not good. I think they had probably about, well, maybe well over 20 Vindicators on Midway. And maybe about 20 Dauntlesses as well. Yeah, so this is good. I mean, it could be worse. All these aircraft could be targeting my flat tops, so no hits. Ah! Mogami class. I think there may have been 4 or 5. Oh! Kumotik. This looks like naval air power here. This is definitely not from Midway. There's way too many Dauntlesses, and they're way too effective. They're just destroying the Mikuma. Anyway, what I was saying is that class of cruisers, there's like maybe 4 sisters, all this looked exactly the same. They were the worst luck class of any of the Japanese ships from World War II. I think they were all at the bottom of the ocean by the end of 1944. And I wikied the Suzuya, because that's the one that there's much less information. Oh my gosh, they're just hitting everything here. Well, at least the Americans fell for that. Took the bait, so to speak. They're really working over my cruisers, though, and they are worth, substantial points. That whole task force is torn up. What is it now? It's 155. I'll make it to the American carriers if those contacts are true. So I'm gonna reach them at. Uh-oh, I've got incoming as well. Oh, oh boy. Kaga takes a hit. 2 hits. Come on. I can't believe the Americans still hit my carriers first. This better not be critical damage. This does not look good. Even hit the Akagi. They've hit all my carriers. But there's going to be some payback. I even have surface contact. So I got to scroll through my ships here. See which one it is. It must be one of Kondo's. Is it the invasion force? Close support. Yeah, but they're not as. This isn't going to work. They're too fast. This is a waste of time. But you still have to. You still have to do this if you're playing the Japanese. You have to crowd, harry, and harass the American task forces at all times. Just keep them occupied. Like you saw, the Americans were still able to hit my carriers first, but that was a fraction of their total power. If that was a full strength attack, all 4 of my carriers would be on fire or sinking. So it was only a fraction of what of their potential. I'm guessing. Maybe more is coming, but they won't get. I mean, I think I'm due up next. Here we go, Yorktown. Good hit. Enterprise is hit. Dive bombers. Wow. Level bombing. Good. This is where you need hits right here. The true ace Kate torpedo bombers. There we go. This is the real damage. These are the squadrons that the Japanese war effort really relies on here. 2 torpedo hits on the Hornet. Big fire on the Yorktown. Some Kates choose to torpedo the cruisers, miss. I'll take the hit on Minneapolis. Yorktown's still burning. These are more Valdai bombers. Another hit on the. Oh, that one didn't penetrate. Enterprise is not looking good. It's on fire from stem to stern. Wow. That's something you don't see very often. Like, I mean, that never is even close to happening. in real life. The Enterprise was just so lucky. You also need luck in this game. That's important. If you're unlucky, it doesn't matter what you do, because, like I said before, one bomb hit on a carrier. I still haven't checked the status of my carriers. They might all be severely damaged. Like I'll check the status of the decks as soon as I can, but I have to resolve these more immediate issues. The surface contact thing has to be maintained. I have to make sure my ships are all headed where I want them to go too. Looks like I have the American task forces pinned down. This is actually what you can't have happen if you're playing the American side. A computer got sucked into launching a low percentage long range attack against my carriers. But he ran into my surface vanguard there. He only tore up one of them, the Mogami group, but a couple others slipped through. And sorry, what I was going to say about the Suzuya, because that's the one you can't get a lot of information about, so I had to look it up on Wikipedia, and I found out why. So apparently, unlike other wrecks of the Pacific War, like all of them have been scanned and imaged, except for the Suzuya, and that is because the circumstances of it sinking. I think it was close to 44. Um, it gets overwhelmed by air power, of course. The Japanese abandon it while it is in the process of sinking, so it probably chugged along a little bit before it ultimately went down. But they say it sank in 27,000 foot deep water, and that makes it one of the deepest recorded shipwrecks in the history of the world. So, yeah, no images of it. It's gone forever. They don't even know where it is exactly. It's not worth trying to investigate, I guess. It's gone. Okay, so I'll try to close. Even this damaged American task group is just going to be too fast. It's the tedious part of this game. But if you want to go for the decisive victory and you really care about points, you have to do this. Always have your surface ships hugging the American formations if you can get that close. The computer actually messed up by allowing this to happen. This version 2, it gives you more time. In the earliest edition of Carriers at War, the Midway scenario was a day shorter. It had more weather to play around with, it seems. More usable weather patterns, unlike this one. Not sure why that's the case. More hits on cruisers. You don't want to lose a lot of these because you lose 3, that's over 100 points. So they're not insignificant. And they are serving the purpose that have intended for them. They're durable ships, actually. Like I said, they were powerfully built in real life. Japanese made use of them. Most of them are named after mountains. I thought that was cool. The Japanese ship names and their etymologies are always really interesting. I'll go over a couple of them at the end if there's any interesting losses or whatever and comment on. Uh, More surface action. It's a good way to keep tabs on the location of the carriers too. And if you could see them burning, you know they're still floating. Whether or not they can launch in land aircraft, I don't know. But you're able to sneak up on them, and the ships just appear close together, and you can get shots off. But this is just a shadowing operation now. It's fine. It's just tedious to manage when you're playing the game. These will all just run away. It's getting late in the first day. I'll check the carriers after I recover my aircraft to see what's still left. You can never just go by the picture. The true damage will always surprise you. Oh, I got two cruisers that are damaged there in that crew. Uh, yeah, really need nighttime for the Japanese to have a chance of closing. Americans will just run during the day, but yeah. Wow, there's a contact really close to Midway there. Not sure what that was all about. It's a six. It's getting late. Wow, he still has. The Americans are able to launch a evening strike. That's probably going to be aimed at the cruisers shadowing them. It's going to move north. Oh, I just saw my carrier. None of them are burning, so that's a good sign. Still able to move 20 like at full speed. So we'll move. We'll see if I can get into those clouds, and then I'll decide what I want to do from there. Still shadowing the American carriers. Wonder where those American planes are headed. Yeah, still try and close. Americans will run away, whatever. At least I know where they are. That's the thing with Midway's a very gameable battle, but it's so hard to create. Like, how do you recreate the fact that the Japanese really didn't know how many American carriers they would be facing? Like that, it's so hard to model that element of surprise into any game if you think about it. If you're playing opposed, like how do you do that? You have to skew the victory points, you know, scale so that taking Midway is actually, whoops, just a window, um, is worth a lot. Like you have to force the Japanese to attack Midway because in an opposed game that models the battle, the Japanese, like common sense would dictate that the best move for the Japanese would ignore Midway altogether and just focus on everything on the American carriers. And that would make it extremely difficult, if not near impossible, for the Americans to win in that. Okay, so that's why you have to make Midway so worth so much points. You have to force the Japanese to want to take that. I finally get in range with some battle cruisers. Congo firing at the Astoria. It's getting that's why because you're losing sunlight. It's easier to sneak up on ships. Look at that. I can't believe the Americans sent out planes against one of Yamamoto's task forces in the north. And they're flying at night. It's like dark and they're not even close to the target. I didn't even know you could do that. A night attack? I wonder how this is going to go. Look at that. Well, I guess it's dusk. Carriers aren't that bad. Soryo is. They've got some dings. Hiryu is unscathed. Kagi barely. So I'm still operational. I gotta wonder how many American planes are heading to. They'll probably bomb the Yamato. Watch. So getting some hits with surface combat finally. One of the ships. I think I get to fire on it there. Yep, the Portland. Oh, it didn't sink. Holy crap! Is it gonna escape? It should be dead here. Oh, put the fires out. Oh, but it's safe. Good. So what surface action is? That's. We'll just tail that one carrier. I wonder if that means one of them sank, or if that's a different task force. I think that's a different one. I'll try and close. Wow, look at this. The Americans are actually gonna fight. I guess they have me outnumbered. Uh, I'll do it. It's too late to flee, so I'll test my luck here. Uh, oh yeah, this might not go well. These are damaged cruisers already, although they weren't burning by the time they found Americans. Yeah, I could be overwhelmed here, but I'm committed. Yeah, I'm gonna lose this group and see how much damage I can do before they're destroyed. Use some torpedoes. Yeah, all these cruisers are gonna be burning or sunk because they're within torpedo range. Torpedoes coming at the Mogami. The Atlantis firing torpedoes. Huh. Shocked that I didn't lose any out right there. Oh, these ships are really hammering each other. Oh, finally lost one. I guess the American fighters had to turn, or the bombers had to turn back. They were trying to find Yamamoto's group. Oh no, they got there. Look at this. This is a night attack, attacking the Hosho and hitting it. That looked like one squadron of about 7 planes they used there. Got one hit at night. The Hosho, I think it only could carry. I think its capacity was just 8 Val bombers. I read on Wikipedia too. Interesting bit of trivia: the Hosho was the very first aircraft carrier built as designed. Like there may have been stuff before the Hosho, but those ships would have been converted into aircraft carriers during the process of construction. But Hosho was the first one designed. It's like early 20s, and it survived the war. So hopefully it does as well here. That'd be disappointing to lose it that way. It means soaring phoenix, the name. Oh, oh my gosh. Mogami's dead. I love that picture. Kumano and Makuma might survive. Mogami's a lost cause, though. It will eventually burn up and sink. Uh, can still finish off these burning American ships here. Good, Minneapolis is dead. After a couple more videos, I'll flip sides and see if I can do better than the computer using the Americans. But you always try to go for decisive, right? Like I don't care if I just like marginally win. That doesn't count. You want the highest level of victory. Yeah, it's just tedious. There we go. I'm finally finishing off these. Oh, the Atlantis tough. Oh, finally it's gone. Thank goodness. That whole task force is destroyed. So I don't know what the contact there is. We'll keep moving to. Well, can't decide whether to back off. I can always close the distance again during the daytime. I really want to know the status of the American carriers. I have to believe they're more severe, much more severely damaged than mine, but who knows? It's one of Nagumo's. Oh no! Whoa! There's a carrier. Oh, this isn't good for the Americans. It's the Yorktown. Oh wow! Yeah, that's why you do this with your surface ships. You just have to bum rush the Americans and hope for this type of situation during the nighttime where you can close and take them by surprise. Losing a carrier to surface guns is not acceptable for either side. But who knows, maybe it was just limping along. I don't know how badly it was damaged. Its speed could have been compromised. But if all of its little destroyers are dead meat now too. I can confirm that the Yorktown went down. The Enterprise was and burning inferno last time it was seen. And the Hornet took 2 torpedoes, if I remember correctly. So, and I still have all 4 of my carriers. Americans are in trouble here. Oh, they're still out there. There's still ships. Hornet's still out there, probably. Yeah, you have Kondo had the last task group in Kondo's forces are seaplane tenders, and you can anchor them in shallow water, which I've done west of Midway, and they start spitting out tons of seaplanes, so you get really good coverage. Oh, there they are. So, yeah, as soon as you do that, they attract the land-based air. I knew that was going to happen. These things will be attacked until they're destroyed, basically. But once again, they serve a purpose, but they keep the American land base occupied. But yeah, B-17s probably take care of them. But those seaplane tenders are doing their job. Ah, Vindicators. I hope I don't lose both of them. No, they're still there. I don't know what the American. Oh, there's a task force escaping. That might be the Hornet trying to get away, which just leaves me with mopping up the rest of the American surface fleet. It doesn't look like I'm going to see or find the Hornet again. It's been chased off. It looks like because there's a contact way far away. So the question is, what should I do with Nagumo's carriers? I'll probably sail back to Midway and try and finish off Midway Island because my really slow transports are going to start factoring into the equation, and they're going to need all the help they can get. They're so slow. You can see more planes headed for the seaplane tenders there. Yeah, head back and polish off Midway. Oh, Hayashio. The Chitos looks like Swiss cheese. Same with the Kamikawa. Catch a lot. Yep, there's the subs. They always get hits. They'll sink something. As long as it's not a carrier, I'm not too concerned at this point. That's this is not good because it's one of the transports that's getting attacked. That directly affects victory points. It looks like it hit a destroyer actually there. I saw the group. Wow, the two seaplane tenders are putting in work. They've got U.S. land-based air thoroughly distracted, which is just what I need for this. Another full, well, it's not going to be full strength, but everything else that I have, second attack on Midway with whatever is left. Yeah, it looks like I don't have to worry about the American carriers anymore, so. Oh, I may have spoken too soon. Oh my gosh. No, that came from Midway. Ah, yeah, that's Midway. Because it's got vindicators. Oh, they got butchered. But they hit the hear you. Oops. So we got the Cachalot again. That's one of Yamamoto's ships. Ugh, got a hit too. So yeah, here's another Midway attack. So hard to put this base out of business. If you look at aerial photographs of Midway, it's weird. Like it's two distinct little atolls, and one is just the airstrip. It doesn't look like there's pretty much anything else on it. It's just one big airstrip with like looks like three runways, and then the other atoll is like the base. So it's weird how like they're separated. It no, it doesn't look like they're far apart, but yeah, it's not like it's one island. It was two like little islands there. I think one was Sand Island, they're called. I'm not sure what the other one is. Here's another. There's more fighters headed to. Oh, they're headed towards the. It looks like the transport ships. But certainly, after two large-scale air raids, we should see a dramatic. Stepping down of land-based air activity. So that day basically consisted of the Japanese hitting at Midway for a second time, and the Americans sneaking in a hit on the Hiryu. And here, actually, I got really lazy because I thought we were done with this, but no, the Americans ambushed me at night, and a reversal. This was really unexpected and costly because they jumped two battle cruisers at point blank range, and it's not until the next round that I get to return fire. So I actually should have backed off. I wasn't thinking. Should have backed off at night and just finished all these ships off with air power. There's no carriers to be seen anymore, so this is just stupid. It cost me too. That should never have happened. That was totally avoidable. Hopefully I can get some payback. The Vincennes, come on. Come on, let me sink something here. Missing. Hopefully that's not serious damage. Can I fire again? That was a great hit and run move by the Americans. I thought they were done, but they stunned me with the good blow there. And they ran away too. I'm pulling that back. We're ending that aspect of the battle. Well, yeah, we're just gonna use air power now from now on. Oh, still some land-based. Only 4 B-17s though. That's better than 15 or 17 or 20. I'm not sure how many they had. About that to start. They still have about 6 serviceable, it looks like. But yeah, this is how I'm going to deal with whatever's left of the Americans. Just use the naval air power, what's left of it. So this actually cranked up the speed of the recording of the game, just because it is winding down. And it looks like it's going to be a Japanese victory. It's just by how much is the question, and it's sadly going to come down to whether or not I lose those battle cruisers or anything else to an unlucky strike, because to get decisive you really have to wipe out the American Pacific Fleet and not really take significant damage yourself, and it's hard. That's hard to do. And I mean, you've seen me already. I've lost cruisers. I was lucky with my carriers, though. New Orleans looks like it's finished. Yeah, those Kate torpedo bombers, they're the difference maker. Once the Japanese lose those, I mean, they were irreplaceable. What you don't see in this scenario, and I'm not sure why, they just may have not have been transferred by the computer, but there was at least a squadron of TBS in real life on Midway. We didn't see them here. I'm not sure why. And we also did not see any medium American bombers like B-25s or B-26s. I'm sure they had a handful of those in real life. I think you might have to. I mean, it's actually been so long since I played the American side, I can't even remember. I don't remember anything about it, like what you get or exact numbers of available aircraft. If to use them, you might have to transfer them from another base on this map. The first version of Carriers at War, or the earlier one, the map is a bit different, so I think it's just Midway. They don't have the other like little spots. I'll look on the map to see if what else is on it here. But it looks to be different from the original configuration. We're just attacking the remnants of the American Navy here. Whole squadron of Kates attacking a destroyer and not getting any hits. Finally. Oh! B-17's getting hits on the transports. Vincennes is Swiss cheese now. Oh, come on, Vals. These destroyers are so hard to deal with. Oh well, there's not much runtime left in this video, so it's just about over. Wind's picking up out here, even though there's like not a cloud in the sky. It's like beautiful day out. Conning, yeah, I've never heard of that. Oh, my crews are exhausted. They can't get any hits. I'm gonna have to rest them. I don't actually think I need to show for these points anyway. Like every point counts for sure. But oh, look at that. 6 B-17s at least are still operational. 8. It's maybe half of them. And we have more coming, it looks like. No, there's no other official spots on the map that could transfer planes. Yeah, I'm not sure why they don't include the TBFs or Mitchells in this game, or Marauders, whatever they were. Maybe there are, but they were destroyed before the computer got to use them. Oh, the Hiryu actually took no damage, even though the report was that it was hit. Didn't record any lasting damage. I'm just going to run it out now because the troop ships are landing. The American surface fleet is insignificant. It's been chased off the map. They still have some ships, but they're going to be incidental to the final outcome here. So we'll just run it out. They're absolutely pose no threat whatsoever anymore. But I just have to sit back and watch the Americans. I trip my... Oh, look at that. B-17 hit on a troop transport. That hurts actually, because that's, you know, victory points. Hopefully not too many. So the only question I have is whether the Hornet escaped or not. If it actually sank, if that's it right on the far side of the... If it fled, if it sank. Because I only reported 2 torpedo hits. It's certainly, if they got lucky, they can survive that. But I don't know. We'll find out at the end of the game if I got all 3. I had no, there was no sign of it after the first air raid. Doesn't mean it's sank though. I guess I'm gonna get one more raid in. These stupid little ships. And that'll be it. We'll look at the final score. Anytime you take Midway and don't lose one of any of your 4 big fleet carriers, have a chance of getting the Decisive. But we'll see. Oh good, got a hit on the Maury. 2 hits. Haha, look at the Cunningham. That better sink. I'll be so mad if that doesn't go down. I'll keep an eye out for it on the end screen. I guess Cunningham. It's a weird way to spell it. And the Maury too. Big hits. The Americans had a lot of different designs for their destroyer. Come on, get a torpedo hit on the Monaco. It's pretty cool too, the art, like the animation, the basic like animation. You can see the fire reflecting off the surface of the water. That's a nice touch. Really good pixel art here. You can see like the rust streaks and stuff. Shadows on the ship and everything. Okay, we're gonna run the timeout here. How much time's left? We'll just run it out. Oh, that the B-17 did sink that ship with one shot. So we're just running out the clock here. I like how the contacts dance around there in fast forward. Okay, 4 hours left. 3 hours. Oh, of course, the Americans get to sink one more of my ships with a submarine. My subs did nothing. Didn't even make an appearance. All that effort for less than a square mile of atoll. What sort of a miserable victory can you call that? You guys break me up. What? What sort of miserable victory? It's called a decisive victory. I got minus 705, like the Japanese score in minus points. 700. 705. America's lost 20 ships, 314 planes. I lost 8 ships with 127 planes. I did lose some points, transportation points for sure. But there's the decisive. So let's look. Oh, the main force is unaffected. Wow. Yukazi and the Hosho. I think the Yukazi got torpedoed by a submarine, and the Hosho was that night attack. Yukazi, I looked up, survived the war actually. It was scrapped in the post war period by the British. Its name meant Evening Wild. Isn't that cool? The fleet carriers are okay. They got lucky though. That's luck. You need luck. See those battle cruisers that got jumped in a nighttime engagement really cost me 100 points each. Kirishima was sunk in real life at Guadalcanal. Horona, I looked up, it's named after a mountain. It was bottomed at anchor near the end of the war. So it was like salvaged and scrapped. And this screen's cool because it tells you the fate of all your pilots. I'm pretty sure they didn't have this feature in the first version. Like disperse, failed to return, shot down while searching, failed to return. Down by high altitude barrage, dispersed. Down by low altitude from Minneapolis. Look at that, pranged on landing. Killed by a bad landing. Dispersed. That's cool. You get all the super or hyper detailed. Went down with ship. Went down with ship. That's the Hosho, yeah. Destroyed by enemy air attack. All of them got killed. Yeah, Decisive. So I did get under 699, 705. So there you go. You can do it. Such a fun game. Just makes me want to try the American side, see if it's doable. Like I said before, though, it does require luck. I just didn't seem to suffer any critical damage on the carriers, who were hit. I mean, they were hit, targeted and hit, but just didn't catch fire and ignite into infernos like they're sometimes prone to do. Made one mistake, was punished for it. I was lazy with surface fleet at a night engagement, and it got jumped, and I lost two battle cruisers. It shouldn't have happened. Couldn't do much about the Mogami group because they were basically a vanguard that was. I mean, I used those ships up for what I intended them to be, like the cutting edge, the spear point, basically, of the vanguard mission against the American carriers. So let's see what survived on the American side. They don't have any car. Okay, so yeah. Oh, the Hornet was sunk. All of those cruisers were sunk or scuttled. Wow. Wonder if none of the cruisers survived. Oh, the Cunningham was only damaged. Damn it. Clark, Hughes, Hyman. I don't think I ever saw those ones. Yeah, everything I attacked towards the end, I think actually did not sink. Atlanta sunk. Yep. So there you have it. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more content coming soon.